Here's Charlotte's pick at number 9.
With the 9th pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Bobcats select Kemba Walker from the University of Connecticut.
Kemba Walker was the guy that a small market team needed to desperately draft. Just like a team like Oklahoma City, to get better, Charlotte had to rely on either a trade or build through the draft. Kemba Walker not only developed into a perennial all-star player, but he was a model citizen and a quintessential professional that any team could use in a leader. Kemba broke a few records in Charlotte, as he is currently the leading scorer in franchise history and now holds the highest scoring game with 60 points. Kemba is the player that you will re-sign in a heartbeat without hesitation. But because of the team taking big gambles on certain players and drafting the wrong prospects, the Hornets had to make an impossible decision not to re-sign him because of their ridiculous payroll. There was even a report that they didn't even offer Kemba a max contract, instead offer him a contract a lot less than the max. I believe their mindset all along was not to re-sign him, but they wanted to make it seem like they tried to. Other than Kemba, the Hornets have never drafted an all-star caliber player. And instead of giving up on players like Cody Zeller and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist after their rookie deals, they decided to re-sign them. But the biggest mistake of them all was signing Nicholas Batum to a max deal. Batum has never even came close to living up to that contract. He was a reliable all-around player in Portland, but his production took a dive as soon as he set foot on the court in Charlotte. One of the biggest mistakes in the draft was drafting Frank Kaminsky when players like Devin Booker and Miles Turner were available to be Kemba Walker's much-needed sidekick. They didn't really lose Kemba Walker for nothing, because the Hornets and the Celtics worked out a sign-and trade that sent point guard Terry Rozier to the Hornets to be the replacement. Many thought if the Hornets was going to give Rozier a $19 million a year contract, you might as well have just given Kemba the max contract he deserves. Rozier has some talent, but he has never been worthy of the contract he was given. For his career, he's averaged around 8 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. And he has never shot over 40% from the field for a whole season. A lot of players can give you a couple good games in the NBA. Being consistent is what makes you an all-star. The Hornets are hoping that Terry Rozier will continue to improve every aspect of his game and max out his potential. Rozier has been a good defender in his short career. He ranked 11th in defensive rating of guards who averaged at least 20 minutes per game. He was never going to get the minutes he needed to take a step forward, sharing minutes with Kyrie and Marcus Smart. Rozier has been itching for a chance to start ever since his postseason run 2 seasons ago, and now he finally gets it. The Hornets not only lost their best player, but they also lost their second best player from last season in Jeremy Lamb. He was in a contract year, and his play showed it. He averaged career highs in points, rebounds, and steals. Besides players like Malik Monk, Miles Bridges, and Dwayne Bacon, there's really nobody else on the roster that you would expect to get any better going forward. The future is not very bright for this organization. It seemed that the Hornets had got a steal with their 11th overall pick in Malik Monk, but he's been everything but. After ending his rookie season on a high note, that production did not translate in his second year. As a matter of fact, he was the exact same player he was in his rookie year, an inefficient scorer who played bad defense. And there were 9 times where he was benched, DNP, coach's decision. Monk was drafted because of his potential to be an elite scorer, like a Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford type. But at this point, he's not even an average scorer. We have only seen a handful of moments where he flashed his scoring potential. He is turnover prone, and there are a couple times where his loose handle caused the Hornets to gain. He still has time to improve, but the leash will get a lot shorter every year he doesn't show improvement. Miles Bridges had somewhat of an encouraging season. Most of the media and fans will focus on the high-flying, ferocious dunks, and with good reason. But Miles did show potential as a defensive player and outside shooter, but he still needs to improve and shoot a higher percentage to become the dangerous weapon the Hornets need. As a starter, he averaged around 10 points and 5 rebounds per game. I expect him to put up those numbers for an entire season at the very least. Instead of drafting a player with a high upside like Tyler Hero, Sekou Demboya, or Romeo Langford, they decided to play it safe as usual and drafted Kentucky big man P.J. Washington. Washington improved a lot from his freshman season. He became a more reliable post player and a more consistent three-point shooter. But his lack of athleticism and size for his position could impact how successful he can be on the next level. He projects to be a solid rotation piece off the bench, but what the Hornets really needed was to take a chance on a prospect with a higher upside and develop him into a future All-Star. There's no way to sugarcoat this. The Hornets had one of the worst roster, if not the worst roster in the league. After losing their two best players this past summer, it's hard to imagine any other outcome other than the Hornets finishing with a worse record, at least in the Eastern Conference. I have the Hornets finishing in last place in the Eastern Conference and only winning 16 games. Terry Rozier and Malik Monk will take turns taking a lot of bad shots, and the Charlotte Hornets will have one of the worst offenses in the league.